Good morning everyone and welcome to another Under Fives Bobbin Songs and Story session. This is a chance for you to play with your little ones, to do some singing and to get involved and have a lot of fun. Now my name is Annie and I'm running the session today, but before we start, a bit of housekeeping. If you haven't noticed, I've got quite a lot of different things in front of me. You don't need all this. As long as you can got a good imagination and are ready to play, that's absolutely fine. If you do want some more ideas of things we suggest to have in this session, whether that's toys, we've provided some things you can cut out, go down to the comments section and we've put a link to our website below. We also have a Pinterest board which has got lots of different ideas on it for sensory play for little ones and other just ideas of crafts and things you could do linked to the session. Now before we start, we need to begin with a very special song. We begin all our bobbin sessions with this song and the clue is in the name. Do you know any nursery rhymes that have got bobbin in the title? That's right, wind the bobbin up. So here I've got a little bobbin. You can see it's got bright red ribbon wrapped all the way around it. And the reason we use this is because at our museum, there lives a man called Andrew Carnegie, and his father, William Carnegie, had a special job. He was called a weaver, which meant he made fabric for tablecloths, for clothes, that kind of thing. And he would use this special kind of bobbin when he was making fabric. Now we're not making fabric today, we're doing something else. We'll be unwinding the ribbon on this bobbin and learning about what the session is about today, as we do with every bobbin session. So first of all, we need to warm up our voices, warm up our hands with lots of different actions, and then we're ready to get started. So after 3, so 1, 2, 3, wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Wind it back again, wind it back again, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, point to the door. Clap your hands together, 1, 2, 3. Put your hands upon your knees. That was excellent, I'm sure, but shall we do it just one more time to make sure that we're all warmed up? Okay, after 3 again, 1, 2, 3. Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Wind it back again, wind it back again, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, point to the door. Clap your hands together, 1, 2, 3. Put your hands upon your knees. Very well done. Give yourself a big round of applause. We've already done one song. We've not even been here 2 minutes. Now it's time to unwind our bobbin. What do you think our session could be about today? There might be some clues in front of you. We've got a teapot. We've got a bowl of vegetables. It could be something to do with food, I think. But shall we unravel just to double check? We were right. It's about cooking in the Victorian kitchen. Victorians lived a very long time ago, about 200 years ago. And that's the time Andrew Carnegie lived. So we'll be learning about different foods, how food was different back then, and especially cooking. And I think we'll be helping Mrs. Carnegie, that's Margaret, his mum, make some lovely things for dinner. Does that sound nice? Well, I think we should probably get ready to cook. I don't want to get things on my nice dress, and obviously my hair's all out. You can't have your hair down. So I've got this lovely bonnet. I'm sure Mrs. Carnegie would have worn something like this. If you have a chef's hat at home, or you might have an apron, that would be really good. Put that on it, keep your clothes nice and clean. And then what else do we have to do before we start cooking? Let's have a think. Wash your hands. Shall we give our hands a big rub just now? Got to get in between your fingers and wash them and make sure they're all lovely and clean before we start cooking. Well, I think we're pretty ready to get going. Now, I think, what should we have first? I think something vegetables. We should get our 5 a day. But now come to think of it, I don't know how you cook in a Victorian kitchen. We've got all these lovely fancy gadgets. We've got an oven. We've got a fridge to keep our vegetables fresh. Some people might even have a microwave for extra speedy cooking. I think we might have to light a fire. Margaret Carnegie probably would have cooked over a fire instead of an oven, so I think we'll have to light that first. We're going to be doing an extra special tune called Light the Fire, and that's the tune of Campfires Burning. We're going to be doing some actions too, so you're going to use your fingers to be flames, the flickering flames. We're going to be putting some coal in. We're going to be doing some dinner, eating some dinner, and of course we're going to have to be striking a match, so practice doing that. Right, so shall we get started? So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Light the fire for dinner, for dinner. Put the coal in, then strike a match. Again, light the fire for dinner, for dinner. Put the coal in, then strike a match. Lovely, we've got our lovely fire roaring now, so we can actually make some lovely hot food. And I think we're going to start with some lovely soup. Now, in Victorian times, you wouldn't have lots of the things we ate today. You'd be eating lots of vegetables and things that were grown nearby. We've got lots of things sent from abroad now, bananas, tomatoes, but you wouldn't have had that in the past. So we'll be using these kinds of vegetables. Now, what is this bright orange one here? That is a carrot. Like a lovely rabbit would like eating this. We've got some lettuce just here. We've got some mushrooms. We've got a leek. And we've got some garlic to add a bit of flavour. I don't think we would have had tomatoes, so we won't be using them today. We'll be using carrots. And I think we might even have a cheeky little spud here, a proper potato. Now, before we start, we need to get our vegetables ready. We can't just dump them in. We need to make sure they're peeled and chopped and ready to cook. So I'm going to get my big pot. If you've got any food at home, plastic food, toy food, fabric food like I've got, get that out and you can cook alongside with me. And you might even have a little pot at home and a wooden spoon so you can pretend to stir as we make the soup. So what do we need to do with the carrots first? We need to peel the carrots. We need to chop the carrots, we need to cook the carrots, and then we're going to eat the carrots. And we're going to do the same for the potato as well. So we can do some actions. You can peel your carrot, you can chop your carrot with your hand like karate, then you're going to put it in your pot to cook it, then of course we can eat our carrots. Okay, so we get started. Follow after me. First we peel the carrots, peel the carrots. Then we chop the carrots, chop the carrots. Then we cook the carrots, cook the carrots. And then we eat the carrots, eat the carrots. I think we're going to keep that in our soup. Shall we do another carrot? So it's extra carroty. You know, having lots of carrots can help you see in the dark apparently. So it's very important to eat your carrots every day. So again, first we peel the carrots, peel the carrots. Then we chop the carrots, chop the carrots. Then we cook the carrots, cook the carrots. And then we eat the carrots, eat the carrots. I think we could do with a potato. Just carrots isn't going to fill you up very much. So we're going to add a lovely little spud. So we're going to call this a tatty because that's what you'd call it in Scotland. And that's what Andrew Carnegie probably would have called this. So we're going to do the same. We're going to peel the potato, we're going to chop the tatty, we're going to cook the tatty, but instead of eating it, we're going to mash the tatty. So if you can do this action as well. So shall we get started? First you peel the tatty, peel the tatty, and then you chop the tatty, chop the tatty, and then you cook the tatty, cook the tatty, and then you mash the tatty, mash the tatty. Ooh, it's smelling lovely, my soup here. So we're going to let this boil for a bit longer. Should we give it one final stir? I might even put some garlic in mine. Perhaps we can pretend to put some salt in, so sprinkle some salt in. And of course you've got to put some pepper in, so grind your pepper and it will smell lovely and warming. Okay, so our soup is boiling. I think we might need something else to pad out our dinner, and I'm craving sausages. The Victorians would have eaten sausages a lot, and guess what? I've got my own little pan here, so I've got 2 sausages in there. Now I think we should sing a song about sausages. I know a very good song about sausages. In fact, you could say it's an absolute banger. So you might have some sausages at home. In the resources we provided, we've put these paper sausages that you can cut out like I have. But if you don't have these, don't worry. You can just use your fingers because they're like the same shape as sausages. So we're going to be doing 5 fat sausages, a really good song. So you can wiggle your fingers like sausages, or you can hold these up. And we're going to be counting them too. So double check that I've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And we're going to be hearing the different sounds sausages actually make. So shall we start? 5 fat sausages frying in a pan. 5 fat sausages frying in a pan. When all of a sudden one went bang. And now there's 4 fat sausages frying in your pan. So we've lost one of the sausages, but we've still got enough for the Carnegies. We've got 1 for Andrew, 1 for Thomas, and then 1 for his mum and dad. But I have a suspicion more might disappear. So instead of frying the sausages, shall we try sizzling the sausages in the pan? 4 fat sausages sizzling in a pan. 4 fat sausages sizzling in a pan. When all of a sudden another went bang. Now there's 3 fat sausages sitting in your pan. Oh dear, only 3 left. Shall we do another song? Shall we try frizzling in the pan? Frizzle in the pan. 3 fat sausages frizzle in a pan. 3 fat sausages frizzling in a pan. When all of a sudden another went bang. Now there's 2 little sausages frizzling in your pan. Well, we've had frizzle. I think it's time for frazzle. You can't have frizzle without frazzle. So let's do frazzling in your pan. There are 2 fat sausages frazzling in your pan. 2 fat sausages frazzling in your pan. When all of a sudden another went bang. Now there's only 1 sausage frazzling in your pan. Oh, we've only got 1 sausage left. Well, shall we finish it? I don't think that's enough for the Carnegies. So we've had frying, sizzling, frizzling and frazzling. I think we should have popping because they're about to pop away, I think. So there's 1 little sausage popping in your pan. 1 little sausage popping in your pan. When all of a sudden the sausage went bang. Now there's no little sausages frying in your pan. Oh, what a shame. Well, at least I've got 2 sausages left in my pan, so we can have them a bit later. I just need to make sure they turn over so they don't burn. So I'll keep an eye on them. So can you remind me what different sounds we heard the sausages making? We had frying, we had sizzling, we had frizzling, we had frazzling, and we had popping. And then we heard them go bang, didn't we? That's the sausages bursting and going away. Now, I actually forgot to say earlier that the Carnegies are having a party. And soup and sausages isn't really what you'd serve at a party to get it started. You need some nice treats as well. So I like sausage rolls, party rings, biscuits, crisps like that, treats. But there's one thing that the Victorians love more than anything. A type of pudding, comes in any flavour. You can serve it with ice cream and sprinkles. Begins with J and very importantly, it goes wibble wobble. Can you guess what it is? Well, if you said jelly, you would be correct. And I've got my own little jelly here. You can print this off yourself and you can help it wibble and wobble. Or you might have some jelly in the cupboard. Next time you have some jelly, give it a little poke and you can see it wibble and wobble. And of course, you can wibble and wobble yourself. Now we're going to be doing a song called Jelly on a Plate to celebrate that Victoria's just loving jelly and that we've got jelly at our party. I think I might have strawberry jelly because it's bright red. So shall we sing a song? Jelly on a Plate. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Jelly on a plate, jelly on a plate, wibble wobble, jelly on a plate. Jelly in my mouth, jelly in my mouth, wibble wobble, jelly in my mouth. Where does it go next? Mouth, tum, I think. Jelly in my tum, jelly in my tum. Wibble wobble, jelly in my tongue. Shall we do it all again? Jelly on a plate, jelly on a plate. Wibble wobble, jelly on a plate. Jelly in my mouth, jelly in my mouth. Wibble wobble, jelly in my mouth. And last, jelly in my tum, jelly in my tum. Wibble wobble, jelly in my tongue. Ooh, I've done a lot of wibbling and wobble. Let's do one last wibble and a wobble. But ooh, the jelly's not going to go down. We've been wibbling too much. We don't want to make ourselves ill. No, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit parched. That means I'm very thirsty after all the singing we've been doing. And I think it might be time for a spot of tea and a slice of cake. Well, luckily I've got both here. So I've got my lovely cup down here, my lovely yellow teacup. I've got my jug of milk. I've got my teaspoon, but importantly, I've got my lovely teapot just here. Now this isn't any old teapot. This is a special teapot. Should I show you? My teapot has got a face. Look how happy and smiley it is. That's what everyone looks like when the teapot is brought out, because everyone looks a good cup of hot tea. I'm going to move my vegetables so you can see that. Isn't that lovely? We put this on it to keep it nice and warm. So we've got my teapot for having our tea in. I've got my lovely teacup and I've got my little jug of milk and my teaspoon. But we're missing something. That's it, we're missing the kettle. That's very important because we're going to boil the water in it. But in Victorian times, you couldn't just plug it in the wall and press a button. You need to boil it over the fire. Do you remember the crackling fire we lit earlier for Margaret Carnegie? Now I'm going to show you my kettle. My kettle is a bright colour. Do you want to have a guess? It's not red, not yellow, not purple, not pink or green. That's right, my teapot is blue. You can see it's very big. It'll have lots of water in it, which means plenty of cups of tea to keep us going. And it's got a handle and it's got a spout. And I can think of a very good song about a kettle and teapot that has a handle and spout in it. That's right, I'm a little teapot. Now I'm going to be using my little teapot here. It's also got its handle and it's got its spout at the front. But if you don't have a tea set, you could just put your hand on your hips, so that's the handle, and then you've got the spout at this end as well. So shall we get singing? I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get steamed up, hear me shout, tip me up and pour me out. Should we do that again? I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get steamed up, hear me shout, tip me up and pour me out. Well, that's our tea ready. I think I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea. So you can pour yourself tea. We've got our bunting up for a tea party. We've got some lovely daffodils. So shall we have a sip? Ooh, it's a bit hot. I've obviously boiled the water. I think I'm going to add some milk to my tea. So if you've got a tea set, you can join along with me. Give it a little stir. And then what else should we do to cool down our tea? We can blow on it as well. So have a sip. It's a bit bitter. I might have a little teaspoon of sugar as well. But some of you might like your tea very strong. So there's a cup of tea there. Ooh, now remember, if we're around Andrew Carnegie, he was very important. You wouldn't slurp your tea. So shall we practice our slurping? And then we're going to practice drinking it quietly. So let's do a slurp. Oh, I don't think Andrew Carnegie would be very impressed. So we're going to do it. You can put your pinky out and we're going to sip it. Sip it very quietly. Did you hear that noise, children? Should we listen again? Now that is the sign of a good cup of tea. I'm sure your adults make that noise when they're having lots of cups of tea or maybe coffee in the morning to wake up and get a bit of energy for having lots of fun in the day. Now we've got our tea. What is tea without a lovely slice of cake? Now I think we're going to have to bake a cake, so we'll need our wooden spoon again. And we've got another song called Pat a Cake, Pat a Cake. So can you stir with your wooden spoon? We might do some actions. Pat a cake, pat a cake. You can bake me a cake as fast as you can. Bake, pat it and prick it and mark it with a B. Try spell out a B with your finger. And then bake it in the oven for baby and me. And we're going to do some baking. Just so we get started. Pat a cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with a B and bake it in the oven for baby and me. Should we do that again? Pat a cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with a B and put it in the oven for baby and me. Well, that cake's baking, but I've got a cake I already made ahead of time because I'm super organised and I just love cake. So look at this beautiful cake. I've got this lovely pink cake. So pink, I think it might be strawberry or raspberry flavoured. And you can see it's got little red cherries and lots of different coloured sprinkles on top. I'm sure it's delicious, but I better save some for the Carnegies, otherwise they'll tell me off for having the cake. So I'll have my cake and cup of tea a little bit later after this session. Well, we've been doing a lot of cooking today. We've been very busy. We've been looking at different vegetables. We had the carrots. We peeled the potatoes and mashed the potatoes. We lit the fire and then we fried the sausages in the pan. We made cups of tea, we've had cake, and then of course we wibbled and wobbled like jelly. So I think it's actually time for the Carnegies to start their party, so we better start winding up our session. We've got a couple more songs, and the song I want to sing now is called We've Come to Margaret's for Our Tea. Now, to get ready for our final song, we'll have to set the table, so I'm going to put my apron on as well to protect my dress. If I start eating, I don't want to get all sauce and sausages and stuff down my lovely dress. You might have some plastic forks and plates. I've got my spoon here, so remember to set the table. And this final song is called We've Come to Margaret's for Our Tea. So Margaret Carnegie's made us tea, and it's to the tune of Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So we'll be doing 3 verses, one about vegetables, we'll be munching the vegetables, we'll be sizzling the sausages, and then we'll be wobbling the jelly. Okay, so after 3, listen to me. We've come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O, and for our tea we'll have some veg, E-I-E-I-O, with a munch munch here and a munch munch there, here a munch, there a munch, everywhere a munch munch. Come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O. Time for some sausages, I think, next. We've come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O, and for our tea we'll have sausages, E-I-E-I-O, with a sizzle sizzle here and a sizzle sizzle there, here a sizzle, there a sizzle, everywhere a sizzle sizzle. Come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O. The final one, jelly. Do you remember how fun it was wobbling the jelly? You can do that again. We've come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O. And for our tea we've got jelly, E-I-E-I-O. With a wobble wobble here and a wobble wobble there, here a wobble, there a wobble, everywhere a wobble, everywhere a wobble wobble. Come to Margaret's for our tea, E-I-E-I-O. Well, that's it. We've all set up for our parties. I'm afraid that's the end of our session. But I hope you've had a lovely time cooking alongside me. Margaret Carnegie is very grateful for all your help, but I think it's time we all disappeared. It might be time for a snack ourselves. I'm not going to ask you to do the washing up either. That's not the fun bit. I'll do that once we've gone. So we've done all our cooking. I think it's actually time to end this session now, and I think we should finish with wind the bobbin up as we started. Do you remember the actions of winding? We were doing lots of pointing, we were pulling with our fingers, and I think, you know, that will wind our session up after we've done all this cooking, making tea, making soup, and it's time to let the party carry on. And of course I will do the washing up. I don't want to ask you to do the washing up. You've had far too much fun singing and doing lots of actions. You've done very well. So shall we finish with wind the bobbin up? So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Wind it back again, wind it back again, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, point to the door. Clap your hands together, 1, 2, 3. Put your hands up on your knees. Very well done. Give yourself a round of applause. I hope you enjoyed our session. There will be one next month as well. I'm not sure what it will be about then, but you've got plenty of time to practice your singing, practice your baking, and practice doing all the different actions with your hands. I hope you enjoyed this session. For adults watching this as well, if you'd like to watch this live, we do it live. It's usually a Tuesday in the month. And you just can sign up to our mailing list, and it means you get bookings in advance. It means you can join in live and have a bit more interaction, a bit more fun, and wave at different children joining in as well. To sign up to our mailing list, in the comments below there should be, in the description box there'll be a link for that. And until next time, see you then. Bye.